Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Walking in Her Shoes. And I have my lovely co-host here today, Makira. How are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself, Dr. Liz?
You want to hear the what's behind the smile or the smile? Because I'm telling you, today has been a day I needed to practice some self-care for sure.
Mm-hmm. That is definitely going to be our talk today, our topic of the day. Tell me where you start at. What's behind a smile?
Whoa, what's behind the smile? It's been one of those. I think I've been on a journey of self reflection and making sure that things make sense because I have a history of covering up a lot of things with I want to say with just getting involved in projects and then
Okay.
another project and then another project. And before I look, I have too many projects going on and I'm feeling that overwhelming sensation. And so that's what I mean when I say what's behind the smile. Because funny thing I'll share, because in our sister girlfriend talks, I talk about transparency. And so, one of the things, one of my nicknames when I was growing up as a little girl was Smiling Faces. And my
Okay.
dad named me Smiling Faces because behind the smile was all kinds of chaos going on, but nobody ever knew because I was able to just smile through it. He said, "You're my only child that smile, and when I see behind the smile, tears start to roll down, but you're still smiling." And so that's something that I'm still working through. And, as we continue to go and grow, we just work through and peel off those layers of the onion and start working on one piece at a time. So that's my focus in
Absolutely.
self-care is creating balance.
Right. And that's, I think, very, very important. And not enough that we seem to do for ourselves as women is practice self care, which does definitely create that overwhelming feeling. I've always wondered, why do you think we don't manage that? Why is it we don't practice self-care?
um you know what, I think maybe it's because we're we're first of all we're nurturers by nature, and
Hmm.
then in our growing up, we're taught to care about, think about it, we were given a baby doll as a little girl, and we're told to take care of her.
That's
We're
true.
given a what is it, a kitchen set, and we're told to wash the dishes, and we're told to get the little plastic chickens and stuff, to make the
Yes.
plates and to serve the people. So I think it's installed in us. But what's so funny is that because I'm so different in my beliefs, and I just don't believe in being put in this little box. So my
Hmm.
grandson, he loves to cook. He's only 7, but
Okay.
he's been doing this with me since he was a little tyke. So, he wanted a kitchen set, and he wanted, and I teach him. He said, "Well, I'm gonna be a cooker." I said, "You gonna be a chef?" I said, "Well, how about owning the restaurant? How about owning a chain of restaurants?" He said yes. So he's had a kitchen set. Now he has some trucks and everything too, but he's had a kitchen set forever. So I believe in breaking those stereotypes of what
Exactly.
we should and shouldn't do. Play
Right.
to
The
our
label.
strengths. Yes.
Absolutely.
So why do you
Absolutely.
think? What do you think it comes from? Other than that part of it, where do you think it come from?
I think it definitely comes from those stereotypes that are pushed on us as children, and we kind of grow up with this image of how things should be. As we continue to grow, those labels and those stereotypes continue to be pushed on us as women. I think it even goes to the extent of where we should be in the gym 24/7 when it's very unrealistic for today's working woman or
Absolutely.
even a home provider. It just seems so unrealistic, but we have this ideal of how we should be looking and how we should maintain things. And it puts a lot of pressure on us. And I think we also have the pressures from everyday life of having to work. We're working sometimes 8 to 12 hours a day and then having to come home and manage the home and managing our children. Where can we fit time for self care into any of that? How can you work 12 hours a day and then come home and then take care of the kids and say, okay, now I want you to take some time out for you? Where do we do that?
Right, right. And I think that's where our strategies come in.
Hmm.
I think that's where, we have to actually schedule it. And this is funny because my youngest daughter, we were talking about some things with the herbs and everything, and I said, well, let's what did I tell her? I said, hold on, let me get my schedule out. She was so offended. she was living with me, and so, I didn't understand what she was mad about, and for a minute she stayed mad for a little bit, not mad, but just a little angry for a little bit, And then I said, I told her, I said, well, what happened to our mother-daughter Sundays? We're supposed to be spending time together. And she said, well, Mom, my schedule is really busy. I said, oh, so I have to get on your schedule, huh? She was like, well, Mom, it's just how you said it. Like, I shouldn't have to schedule time with my mom. I said, but it wasn't meant to be that way. It just means that our days are pretty much accounted for almost every minute of the day. And really, in order to put that attention on the priorities of our life, we do have to block. I said, okay, maybe I should have said time blocking. Maybe I shouldn't have said, well, hold on, let me put you on my schedule, darling. 2:00 2 weeks from now on a Sunday,
Right.
But all is forgiven. We finally had that, we had a mother-daughter Mother's Day breakfast. So okay. I think she forgave me for that. But because she's a mom and she is a wife to be, that she's getting ready to get married. So I think she does understand that scheduling, but it just didn't hit her right here that, okay, we need to schedule it. Yeah.
Of course.
So self-care, I think it is a strategy, and it's something that we must learn. And this is what I'm still learning for myself, is not only to schedule time for myself on my calendar, but to not always, but also honor that time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. When I'm talking with my clients, I like to identify it as being mindful of our time. Some things I like to do for myself is when I am driving and I'm in a car by myself, I definitely take that time to myself. I'll put on my favorite music, or sometimes I'll ride with no music at all. And I will just have me, myself, and my own thoughts. I like to say my conversations with God at that time.
I love that.
My favorite tea, and I just take my time to myself in that moment. And I may not answer a call or, but it's my choice to do what I feel to do in my time in that moment.
Exactly. Now, what's your favorite tea?
Oh, I like, my friends like to call me earthy. So I like ginger teas and lavender tea. And probably my favorite would probably have to be a mix of ginger and turmeric blend.
Oh, wow. That's an exquisite palate, because I didn't hear, I love ginger tea. Now mine's is ginger and honey. I love ginger and honey together, but I love anything citrus, like a lemon or a peach tea. And sometimes folks that are close to me say I'm gonna blow something up or something one day, because I mix all kinds of things together, and I actually get a good result. But sometimes I'm like, what did I put in there? I can't even remember. That was so good. Yeah. Like perfumes, I do the same thing. My mom used to tell me that all the time. Okay, one day that's going to smell bad. But I would go in and I'll layer. I'll put this on and put this on, and before I leave the house, I'm spraying something else on. Got something in the car, putting that on. And people say, well, what do you have on? I don't know.
But it sounds like that's something you enjoy doing, and that could very well be considered self-care.
Absolutely. But again, paying attention to yourself, and just like that, like you pointed that out, that is something that I love to do. And it's those little things, even taking those 5-minute vacations in your mind, and just maybe relaxing your head. Now this is something else. I guess I have some quirky things that I do, but these are things that I do to keep myself smiling and in a good place. Yes. Like you said, with your car being your university. Mine is my university too, but let me tell you what I do. When I said, okay, I did take it a little far, so I said I had to stop. So I didn't have time for the gym, right? So,
Uh-oh.
It works. Look, it works. So I'm in the car and I'm doing my exercises. So I'm doing figure eights, okay? So I'm doing figure eights in the car. or I'm doing crunches in the car. I asked my son, he's a personal trainer, and I asked him about isometrics. And he said, I didn't ask, he told me that it was isometrics. So I was like, I do some strengthening in the car, and I said, the people that are driving next to me are probably like, let me hurry up and get away from her because there's something wrong with her. She having fits in the car. Because I do that. Now, what I did add, I added some weights. And I was like, okay, you can't do weights in the car. These 5-pound hand weights. And so I was trying to, but it kept hitting the ceiling. And I was like, okay, maybe this is taking it a bit far, but I really want to do this. So I really want to do this right. So
your time is very, very limited.
It's like, okay, I want to do it. I'm going to be committed to myself to make myself better. And, I have to stretch and everything to keep myself going because I told you about the accident. So I can't be, when I sit, I just stiffen up. I'll sit and I'll feel like the chair because it's so hard to get up. So I have to really exercise it out. But my point was, you have to figure in your time, and it's okay to be different and unique and not to do what everybody else does because we all can't fit into this little square box. You have to do what works for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's something you have to be very aware of who you are in order to be confident enough to say, you know what, I know this isn't the norm, but this is something that's very important to me. So I'm going to go on and move forward with it anyway. So
Absolutely.
Even if it feels quirky or weird or whatever other adjective we can place on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to share this funny story because we did one of my associates, we did an episode on Kegel exercising, right?
Kegel?
Yes.
Okay.
And my son happened to pond it. You have to be really careful when you're doing YouTube and you're like, they already know that I'm open about things and everything. And, he just said, I really don't need to know that my mom even knows what that is.
Surprised that he would even say something of that nature, because why wouldn't we know what it is? It's part of our anatomy. So.
Hello. But for some reason, the sons just want to think of mom in a certain way. They don't, so I said, well, pass the video on to your girlfriend or something, don't look at it, but, it is important for us. And that's another thing, even when you go into that type of exercise, that's, we've been, like I said, placed in a box and then told that certain things were shameful. I happen to think that the human body is beautiful, that God created us all individually and beautiful. But there's some things that our daughters aren't being taught, that's something that, that is, and when we looked it up, they talked about, it being good for your, for like, as we age and our lining gets loose and we need to be able to tighten that up. And, for other fun reasons, we need to know this stuff, right? But if it's not passed to us, how are we going to know?
Right. How do we know if it's not passed on? But I think that's another big point of self-care too, is taking the time out with your sister girls and having conversations with one another that is going to make sure that we're uplifting each other and keeping each other in the know so that we're practicing safe care and good health.
I like that. I like what you said with the no, because sometimes, we're really hard on ourselves and certain things we say, oh, at this age, I should know this. At this age, I should know that. But honestly and truly, if nobody's taught you or you haven't been introduced to it, it's no shame in not knowing or even asking for help or even just, I don't know this. How do, the simplest things, one of the things that I look at too is like with our young girls, oftentimes they don't know the proper undergarments to wear.
Right.
And nobody's telling them, but that's a part of self-care. Because when you have the proper fitting undergarments or, nice new pair or what have you, or matching or whatever your thing is, it also plays a part in how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked about, I was looking at an article the other day about being polished and depending on what your polish is, meaning, you know, like at the end of the day or the beginning of the day when you leave out, you know, what makes you feel good as you go through your day? Because we get hit with so much as we go, as we enter the world every day. You know, we get hit with so much. So what is your polish, I guess would be, you know, what is it that makes you feel unique and beautiful yourself as you walk out the door?
Yeah, I think that I've never even thought of it that way. Asking yourself, what is your polish? Are you asking me to answer that, Dr. Liz?
It was just a discussion. If you felt like you wanted to share, you know, this is all about, you know, your own level of comfort
My level of polish is just being within my uniqueness, being in my own space. My hair probably is one areas that I try to be more mindful of, more aware of, is because I know my hair is unlike others, and I try to make that my thing. You know what I mean? I've never been asked that question.
I love to shock our guests when they come on, because I've had some guests that have shocked me, but you're home now, so you know we're gonna have these conversations. But you know, I think the funny thing is, I think my polish is, you know, I mean, I've been this makeup thing since I was 14. I actually was a standard in our household, so I kind of grew up with this. So I feel naked without it.
Okay.
So that's a part of my polish. And, you know, the ladies in my family, we've always been a hair thing because, you know, we had I was going to say cosmetologists in our family. So, you know, they, that was a part of their thing too. So they kind of dropped that down to us. You know, I even feel naked without my jewelry.
Okay.
You know, my jewelry, you know.
Without my jewelry too.
See?
I can agree with that. Yeah.
That's a polish, you know. And you know, I used to, real estate was one of my first professions, and so we wore suits all the time. So I was always in a suit until my children, they kind of attack me sometimes, like, "Ma, you need some jeans. Ma, you need some drip shoes. Ma, you need a jog," you know. And then when I go all the way over to the left, "Ma, you know." So they're kind of keeping me balanced. They're all adults now, so they do keep me balanced, and I love it. But like, well, you can't be comfortable sometimes. I'm like, well, I am comfortable. I am comfortable right now. You know, they're like, no, Ma, that's not comfortable. You need some jeans, so you need some of this. So you know, they even got me to wearing well, it wasn't like sweats, but it was like, you know, the I guess they're called jog sets or something. I'm probably dating myself, but jog sets or whatever, the ones you zip up or whatever with so they got me wearing those, and I said, I kind of like this.
Some of those you could dress them up and you'll keep your cuteness going on there.
See, I can't help it. I think I'm just a girly girl. I can't help that.
Yes. I think I've just now, to be honest with you, Dr. Liz, I've just now, within the last probably 5 years, started practicing more of what I teach. You know what I mean? Being more mindful of my self-care. Being a mom, because I'm a mother too, and my oldest is 22 and my youngest is 10. So they keep me very, very busy.
Okay.
And I've learned that my label stuck on me big time, where I was all about my children. I was all about work. You know, I was not mindful of myself at all. You know, I did not do any of those girly girl things. Okay. So I just probably within the last couple of years made it my business, especially within the last year, made it my business to keep my nails done.
Okay.
Going to make sure I get my hair cut, and I'm just getting more into jewelry and things of that nature too, and makeup and stuff like that, because I was always that type of woman where I'm more of a tomboy type of girl. So I like my jeans and my gym shoes 24/7. If I can wear jeans everywhere, that is exactly what you will see me in. But I'm getting to step outside my comfort zone more, and you know, diversifying my wardrobe and getting to be on my girly girl side more. So
getting in touch with your girly girl side. I think
with you. Picking, you know, connecting with you. Like, what am I gonna do with this, Dr. Liz? What do I do with this?
Well, I'm steady learning, and and sometimes, I mean, honestly, I have no problem with, complimenting my sister girlfriend out and about, and where did you get that from, or wow, that looks great together, or just I mean, that's how we learn, just being open, about it. So I think it's really, I'm learning even more about fashion, and reading the books, and some of the things that just automatically some people automatically do is just like putting the effort towards it, or just it's something that I've learned. Okay, well, if I don't know it, just go look in the magazines, or just I just think it's a great thing to pick up the little habits and things that you do as you continue to add and as you continue to grow. Because we're like fine wine. We're supposed to get better with age. So, all this about, oh, that's supposed to do this because you're older now. No, that's supposed to be better because you get older.
Exactly. Yes.
Better. Now you can do better, So,
yes. Yes.
so what would you tell our ladies about, what can we do mentally to help ourselves to take care of ourselves with all of the, because sometimes I hear people talk about, you know, they kind of get stuck in this world of negativity with negative thoughts. How do we help ourselves to, fight off the negative thoughts when they come?
I think we should definitely practice giving ourselves more compliments,
Ooh, that's good.
focusing on our strengths and not so much on our areas that we want to strengthen, but focus on the strengths that we already have. And putting up, what was that one? There was a series that came on BET with the woman who put the post-it notes all over the place, all over her house.
Being Mary Jane.
Yes.
Yes.
So her post-it notes with her compliments and her reminders to herself constantly on how wonderful she is and the areas that she wants to strengthen, yes, but also focusing on the areas that she has accomplished. And those are the things we should always keep in the front of us so that we always have that reminder that we are special, because we don't get those reminders enough.
And see, I hope our ladies have your pens out. Like, I'm a girly pen out, but have your pens out, because these are reminders. Sometimes it's so funny how we'll pick up a good habit of doing something, and then for some reason we'll get so busy that we'll stop. And
Yes.
that good, like just like what you said, and that's a new thing that I'm going to add. I have sticky notes everywhere. Okay, sticky notes all over the place, reminding me of different things to do. But you just said something really key, a sticky note to remind myself of the accomplishments and the things that I have achieved. I don't that this is the first time I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
To do that positive affirmation or reinforcement that I
Yes.
have. We do get stuck on the things that we haven't done, or the things that
Right.
looking. One of the big things I hear women do, and I'm guilty of it too, is 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 not enjoying the journey, but always focusing on the destination.
Yes. Yes.
And I've learned, this is what I've learned recently. There's so much richness and so much that we can glean from in the, walking in the meantime, and enjoying that journey. My dad used to always say, baby, he used to say, baby, stop and smell the roses.
Yes.
And I used to say, okay, daddy, one day. Okay, daddy, one day. But, now that he's gone, it's kind of heavy on my heart that I didn't stop and smell the roses when he was giving me that message. He was saying,
Mm-hmm.
stop and smell the roses. He's saying, enjoy
Right.
the journey. And I was so busy at focusing on the destination that I missed a lot of the journey. So
Journey.
passing that on to, us, walking in her shoes, well, I think we can learn a lot from each other's shoes. We don't have to
Yes.
be jealous of anybody else's shoes, because some of them stilettos out there, I don't mess around no more.
I don't want to be.
Give me a nice pair of
Yes.
wedges or some nice little ones, and I'm good to go. I'm telling you, I was the heel queen for many years. I did nothing
Okay.
but heels. I had to
Okay.
readjust, and I had to teach my legs to come down. Like, I had to really focus on my muscles, because I had trained myself to be in that arched position all the time. So that was my comfort level. But so getting back to that, just taking care of ourselves, man. Just
Yeah.
just really focusing on that. And it's okay. We've been taught that being self-centered or focused on ourselves is wrong.
Yes.
You're selfish.
Yes.
But you can't, like, what was that Lisa Nichols that talked about giving from your saucer and not from your cup?
Yes, we talked about that last week.
Yes, because if you deplete that
Definitely
cup, what do you do?
have left. And that is one of my, I preach it so much. I'm constantly preaching, especially when I'm working with my people, is it's nothing wrong with being selfish. We always reinforce how selfish is negative, but I don't agree. I think being selfish is where you definitely carve out that time for yourself, whether it be emotionally, whether it be mentally, whether it be physically, that you're carving out that time to take care of you. Because, like you said, if you don't take care of yourself, what do you have to give to anyone?
Absolutely.
Self care.
Absolutely. So if you were to leave our ladies with something today, what would be one thing that they should focus on? I know themselves, but that's kind of a broad stroke. But what is one of the things that you think that they should focus on to start even understanding, other than our conversation today, how important it is just to take some time out for yourself?
Hmm. I would recommend to our ladies to enjoy that shower a little longer and not be afraid to be in your own head with your own thoughts.
Hmm.
And like you
That's
said, your father will remind you of all the time, remember to stop and smell the roses. Take your
yeah.
time. Stop and smell the roses.
Stop and smell the roses. Yeah, that's good. That's good. While you were talking, I was thinking about candles and shag rugs. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yes.
placing candles everywhere, like, calming yourself down before you go to sleep and,
Yes.
listening to. And I've started to, and you got to be careful though with meditations. I was listening to some guided meditations, and there's just one that I absolutely, absolutely love. It's a
Mhm.
phenomenal, it's a phenomenal meditation where there's rivers and there's water. And for
Yeah.
me, I love scriptures at night. It just helps me to feel safe and protected. So it's like there's scriptures and they're reading, just depending on the voice that you identify with. But, it's just like calming water. And I just noticed that helps me to sleep through the night, and it helps me to
Yeah.
wake up refreshed. Because that's another thing. That's what I would leave our ladies with today, other than the candles and the shag rugs. But you just want to make sure that you allow yourself the time to sleep. Give yourself the time so that your body can recalibrate, and it can heal itself.
That's
Because if
so
we're trying
important.
to operate and then we're thinking about so many things, our brains are like it's a grand central station. So we're thinking and racing, then you try to go to sleep and you're still racing, and we don't
Yes.
even give ourselves the time to get into that REM sleep, right?
Definitely say that it's good to give yourself an hour before bedtime. No cell phones. If you can even refrain from having a TV on at night before, or at
Yes.
least an hour before bed, but giving yourself a good wind down so that you can have that restful sleep. And it may take some time to actually get into that mode so that it's working for you. But everybody needs what we call a cool down period so that you can allow the mind to relax and allow the mind to do what it needs to do so that it can rest, so your body can rest when it's time to sleep.
Yeah. And see, all these things are so important and they're not taught. And if you don't seek this information, sometimes you just don't know. And sometimes it's just some simple things that you can do. Just tweak something and it'll
Right.
give, like that 5-minute vacation that I talked about. Just
Yes.
closing your eyes. I do a 13-minute meditation every morning to kind of just center me and bring me to, and I've noticed that I'm much more productive. I'm much more productive when I shut down at a certain time and I give myself that time to rest and recalibrate. Even wake
Yeah.
up in the morning and you're okay. Now you're ready to take on another day because you're not
Right.
waking up sluggish and tired from the day before. So,
Right.
so
Right.
yes. So I
Absolutely.
truly appreciate you being here, and I'm looking forward to our future sister girlfriend talks. Walking in her shoes, man. Sometimes that's not an easy thing to do, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. It's
Not at
probably
all.
one of the most challenging things we can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, until next time, I just want to remind everybody to like, share, and subscribe. And we will see you next time. Don't forget to share this information with someone else and stay fearless. Bye for now.
Have a good one.